Computer. Okay, so we are recording right now. So the main thing I want to go over, I will go over the delist and relist first. This is just the inventory features in Datamiine are far superior, I think, than most programs out there. We didn't even realize the benefit of delisting and relisting. We only did it to save time, but then we really started figuring out that it helped in search for eBay. So I'm just going to go ahead and show how we do it and kind of our parameters around that on our own account. And then if you have any questions, just feel free to chime in. But normally what I do is I go into my inventory summary page, and our rule of thumb is I don't like to see anything sitting stale past 61 or greater days. So I always start at the inventory summary level, which is loading right now. Sometimes this page takes a while because it's a lot of data that it has to pull in behind the scenes. So what this right here means is we have $205,000 of active listings on eBay, and we have $24,000 that hasn't sold within 91 or greater days. So I'm assuming, Alice, if you have 4,000 listings, you probably see a lot of busy things going on here. Is that right?
Yeah, unfortunately, most of them are stale, so I need to get those sold.
So how many have you been putting in the basket? Are you just starting to do that, or?
I think they're all in the basket, all the ones that are over 181 days.
Oh, good. So your account's showing high activity every day. Okay. The fastest way of doing that, it's a little bit manual, but there's some tricks to doing it. So what we do is I'm just going to click on the 91 to 180, and it's going to pull all those active listings in. And then since it's only 50, I think it's 25 per page, so that's why you have multiple tabs here. I'm just going to open up. I'm just going to hold down Control and hit 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then that opens all those into new tabs. And then I would just go ahead and select all and click Reset. Next tab, select all. I'm not sure if you are doing it this way, but this is much faster than individually going in there and doing it. And then that way I just added, after this page here, 130 items into my basket. Is that how everyone's doing this when they have more than one page?
Yes, I am.
I'm starting on this.
Okay, good. Okay. That's when you have more than one page, it's just really, I did a video about that. That's definitely the fastest way of doing it. And then if you want to just go verify in your basket, I would just go ahead and click on your delist relist basket here, and we have 142 items in it. Some people say, well, you know, the item isn't selling for a particular reason, so I need to go ahead and maybe make some tweaks to it, but I don't have time right now. You can just go in here and just click on Unapprove, and they stay in the basket, but we're not going to touch them. So see those say pending? We don't touch anything that says pending. I don't think I've talked about that in a while. Does anyone have any questions around delist, relist? That's a pretty quick way, but it seems like y'all are already pretty familiar with it.
Do you use the same format when it's 61 to 90 days?
Some people will say 58 days because I think you incur extra fees with eBay. Once they hit like 59, that's a great question to put on our Facebook group. I think Dorothy has a good rule of thumb around doing it at day 58. And I think some users go.
Then you'd go up there and click on the 31 to 60 to start.
You can, or you can actually just start at your inventory page here and just click on no sale day. Let's see here, no sale day and descending, and then this will sort all your inventory by the, so my oldest item.
Hang around faster.
So what I did was I went to my inventory page here. So instead of starting from inventory summary, I went to inventory, and then I went order by no sale day and descending, which makes the highest number come first. And you can see here, my longest item that hasn't sold is this hard drive within 100 days.
Okay.
So this is another way of filtering that. All
okay,
right.
So at that point, I can click over here one at a time, the ones that I want by the days, and it'll just do those ones that I click.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. Let's see here. Everyone, Alice, how do you use custom label?
I put in the date that I list the item, the original date.
Okay. So do you not, so since Datamiine now kind of captured that, the start time, do you still do that, or are you still
I do that for my freshly new listings. I do
Okay.
that, but when Datamiine relists it, then I don't have any visibility of it being relisted.
Right. We are looking at keeping track, like, this item shows in Datamiine it's 30 days, but that really means it could be, 120 days. So that's something
Right.
that's something that we're looking into.
Okay.
Do you use custom label for like inventory bins or anything?
I don't.
Okay. Some people, I'll show you how we use custom label. We use custom label a lot of different ways. So let me just MLB, check on the best thing to pull up here. So custom label, we track it for consignment. We track it for who lists the product. And we also track it for inventory bin. So I can see if I want to track all my consigners, I can just type in the consigners names and it'll pull up every active listing for that consigner. If I wanted to search an inventory bin, I could just put A5, A4. This is if I want to do like a reconciliation. Maybe we don't have those in stock anymore. Let's see here. I don't think we have anything in those bins anymore. So some people that are using this to figure out how much inventory they have from a specific thing they buy. So how many different places do you buy from? Is it like a lot, or is it just a handful?
I just buy from a handful of places.
Okay. So
I'm from
everywhere? Some people come to us and say, Brooks, I have a budget of X dollars. What should I do? Let's say it's an easy set, $1,000. I say, well, I first would figure out where you're buying from and which ones aren't profitable, because you don't want to be buying from places that aren't profitable. So imagine if you use Datamiine and in eBay, you use the custom label on where you purchased it from. So let's just use Goodwill, for example. Let's say you purchased from 3 Goodwill. So you call it Goodwill 1. Goodwill 1, and then you click enter. That will actually show you all your active listings from that one place. But at the same time, your orders page, you can see every order that's coming from Goodwill 1. So you can type in Goodwill 1 and search, and it will show you all those. So in this case, I'll just type in retro. And it'll pull all those from that one store. Now the neat thing, let's say you call it, let's see here, I'm going to go to my dashboard page and report home. There's an area for sales report called custom label by consignment. So let's say you call it Goodwill 1, Goodwill 2, Goodwill 3. You can just type in the location. It will show you exactly how much revenue you're driving from each store. And then you can click on the numbers and it will show you all of the actual listings coming from that particular store. So when people ask me, saying I want to get into a new category, or I want to be able to track, how profitable each item is or where the sales are coming from, this is how I would do it. Do you think this will help?
I have a question on that.
Sure.
How far can you push that field in relationship to how many different types of categories you can use it for? For my custom field, I use my inventory item number, and I use the price I paid for an item. Now, I also have my location number. I have who it bought it from. But how many of these different fields can I search for, putting them all into one?
It seems to be quite endless. I mean, I've actually never pushed the envelope with it. So, I mean, we track it, 4 different ways and never had a problem. So I don't see it being any issue.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay,
that's my suggestion. So
looks very, very attractive. I'm sitting here biting my tongue trying to figure out if I want to test it or not. I'm saying that because I don't want to have 2,000 items that I've got to redo because I pushed it too far or whatever. So I got to make up my mind what I'm going to do on that one. Good.
Yeah, it's really just coming down to a specific schema on how you want to do it. So I love when people come to me and say, I'm changing the way that I treat custom label because we do it totally different with non-clothing. So by the way, if you see clothing here, MLB stuff right now is very hot. We've been selling a ton of brand new attack stuff every single day, especially LA Dodgers. So if you ever come across that at the stores, I would definitely suggest buying it. Just a tip. But yeah, we use custom label. If we have, let me just type in something. We might have 30 different types of hard drives in stock, but we just type it drive. And then that way when I need to, because I have so many repeat buyers that buy this stuff, I will say, hey, I saw you purchase this drive from us. We also have these in stock. So we use it for a cross-sell potential. So very unique compared to those places.
Let me ask you one thing about using that field. I have one field that I use for the date that I listed, and I also use that same field by color coding when it sells. That way I don't lose one information. Is there any way, can you use the color coding with you in your listings there?
Well, we had the color code stuff fixed. Mainly we have it color coordinated, like when your inventory hits 0, it will show red and things like that. But if you give us, just shoot me some examples of what you're looking for and I'll talk to Buchan.
Okay, will do.
All right. Trying to think of any other things for inventory. Alice, do you use promoted listings or Markdown Manager at all?
I do use both.
Okay,
yes.
So we do the same thing. Sometimes we say for like Q1 of this year, we're going to run a Markdown Manager just to track the performance of it at 5%. As you know, eBay does not give you the ability to do a very targeted Markdown Manager on certain things that aren't selling. They want you to promote an entire category, which sometimes in one category, I might have something that has a huge sales through rate and mixed with something that has a slower one. So you can export here your eBay inventories into Excel, and it will pull up into a file like this right here. What we do then is either you can filter it off custom label and drill down to a Markdown Manager. But what we do is we filter it off elapsed days. What that means is I want to do a targeted campaigns that haven't sold in a long period of time. Maybe you want to try this before you use D-List, Relist to see the differences. So I'm just going to copy and paste all these item IDs. I'm going to for this example, I'm going to do a targeted promo for things that haven't sold within 100 days. And I'm just going to copy these item IDs. Then I'm going to go into eBay. And then I'm going to go into marketing, promotions, creative promotion, sales event markdown. What is this page? Go to, it's not eBay changes all the time. I've never seen this before.
Yep.
Sorry, didn't expect that to happen. Normally I go to the marketing markdown sale page. Markdown sale. Create promotion. Sales event markdown. Here we go. Okay, so keep in mind it defaults to 30, so you know that's never good. eBay just wants to get so much money out of you. So I'm going to take 5% off the sale, and then what you want to do is you want to select items. Something looks different here. I want to enter specific SKUs or item IDs, and then you just click on item ID, and then you just paste. So what you just did there, once you click on save and preview, you just did a targeted promotion of things that haven't sold within a period of time and or custom label. That in eBay would take you hours to do. So we use this quite often.
Now, when you do this, how long do you set that up for? You just watch it and take it off in X number of days, or?
Yeah, I typically review this stuff on a quarterly basis. So that's kind of our rule of thumb.
eBay doesn't have any way that I'm aware of that shows, other than going all the way into it like this, it shows what promotions we have set up.
It
Are you aware
does.
of anything?
I think it does in the marketing tab. It shows you your promotions that you have going on. I always look like right here. It shows you everything that's promoted and the total sales you're driving from it. And then also in Datamiine, let's make sure Woodjump hasn't moved this out. If you go to your dashboard tab, Alice, how do you track all this stuff, the marketing side?
I just promote the whole category, so it's not as specific as you're doing it.
Okay. Yeah. I started doing that, but I know I'm marking down things that I know are going to sell very fast. So that's why I wanted to do it differently.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to give eBay any more money than I have to. So multiple basis last sale, shipping from store county. Okay, we used to have an area here for markdown sale. Okay, so that hopefully will be helpful to you if you wanted to do a markdown manager. So right now they're putting a lot of emphasis on promoted listings you haven't seen. And I see a lot of people out there on Facebook, look how much money I'm generating from promoted listings, but it's really important to be watching where your margin's going. And I'm not sure if you've seen our latest release, but if you go into your report homepage and you click on eBay listing and subscription fee, no, not that one, sorry. Report home, eBay fees. This will actually showing you where all your money is going to eBay. So we have two accounts. This account here, we're paying, if you asked me before I had any data, I would think I've been paying eBay a max of, I would say 12%. But when you add in return shipping fee, insertion fees, you know, final value fees, it's really more around 15 to 20% against your total revenue, which with people that have margins that are, you know, 20, 30%, this is a big deal. Or if you do consignment, big deal.
Percent.
Say that again?
I said right now, looking at mine, it says 21%.
Yeah, that's probably what I would hone in on is two things. I would focus on, are you paying extra insertion fees here, which means you're not at this right store category?
Very little on that.
Okay, so that probably means you're at the right
source. But when I run out of my 30, I go back and I do any relisting as an auction, and just stretch that out for the last few days until the end of the month. It's leaving a listing on it, you know, it's still visible. Now, I don't know, maybe that's not such a good idea.
Well, I'll give you an example.
I've got the auction sitting around.
You just want to make sure everything's really tight. Like right here, we quickly saw we were paying all this extra money in insertion fees. So we jumped up a store, and now you can see we got a credit this month, 20 cents that month, $0. So we immediately save money by looking at the data. We're never supposed to, a gallery fee. I mean, it's like, what the world is a gallery fee? So you can actually click on it, and that's actually a credit. And it'll take you to the listing itself. So I don't even know what that even means. I did not know they charge you return shipping fee. So I incurred a $40 charge for that. Some things I asked go ahead.
The fee, that's not the shipping.
That's a fee, just to return it.
Right, that's why it's not just the shipping, the return shipping, it's a fee.
That is correct.
Man.
So it's, you gotta be careful. And also, does your account, does anything jump out if you're looking at this page? Have you ever looked at this page?
I have not looked at that page.
It might surprise you.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
But you can take action on it, right? I mean, that's the good thing. We have a policy with all of our listers. You know, I never want to see a bold, what's it called, like a bold fee? I forgot what the actual term is.
Yeah, it's at bold title.
Bold title. When we have a policy,
it's like $4.
It's so silly. But you can see here, subtitle fee. I think that's what it's called. maybe what it is. And I can see, our lister made a mistake automatically. So I think this is really important to watch as people just keep automatically going to promoted listings and going to trending rate. Because I heard someone this morning on a call saying they're doing trending +5. I'm like, wow, that's like doubling your fee structure, and you're not even realizing that. Because trending could be around 7%, and then you add 5 in there. Now you're giving eBay on top of around 10%, another 15. I mean, I don't think people really realize what the heck's going on. And we've been at the eBay event in LA last week, and we were at the eBay event in Miami, and eBay just thinks this is the new hottest thing out there. And I look at it and be like, this is a great way for them to increase revenue without increasing extra sellers on the platform or buyers. It's just getting more money out of us. And I don't.
What is that ad fee at the top?
I think this is. Let's see here. Ad fee 0 for this one. I think this is probably dealing with what kind of account that we have, because this account we just have a basic, and this account we have a premium, which we should probably put question marks here stating exactly what they are. I think that would help. Would that help y'all?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this actually might be driving from Markdown Manager at rate 7%.
Okay. Let me ask you a question on that too. I do a lot of the setting up of my promotion situation when I'm doing listings.
Yeah.
Because they have down at the bottom of the listing that you can use such a percent. Normally I use 5%. And then on the other thing that it asks about, I can't remember what it's titled offhand. I normally, they have it set at a 5%. Oh, that's to multiple purchases, and I put 7% on that. But I haven't really seen any major increase in anything that I use promoted listings on.
So this is a little trick out there. You will not see any advantage in promoting 1% for promoting 10% or 20%. I don't think. What we are working on right now, someone told us actually at eBay Open last year. They said, just a little hint, promoted a listing, you get the same search results from one versus whatever. So what we're working on right now is, imagine if you knew your sales through rate for every promoted listing you did. So if your sales through rate was 10% at 20% promoted versus 1%, why would you give eBay 19 more percent? And I asked an eBay very high up person that in person last week in LA, and he looked really nervous. They don't want you to know that. But, so I told him, I'm like, we're developing it. It's coming. It's funny how they come up with these releases and they talk about the seller, but it's about the bottom line for us. So I think that's going to be some interesting data out of that. Alice, how do you do promoted listings? What's your rule of thumb?
I used to do about 5%, but I just really don't like it anymore. So I'm not really going to do any more promoted listings.
Oh, you're not?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I would. Just track your sales. I think it does affect sales, but I think I would just do 1% every single time. Yeah. But the difference between, if people are doing 7% versus 1%, that could be enough just to pay for Datamiine subscription, depending on your sales volume. It's crazy,
right.
Any questions?
So we're supposed to.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I had the floor.
Oh no, go ahead.
You guys go ahead. My statement, I have dogs on the floor, and there's one of them that's not feeling well, and somebody got close to him.
Yeah, I'm just curious about an example. If someone on average does a trending rate of 5%, and then they jump it down to 1% because they see there's no extra benefit from data they're getting from us, that's exactly, if the user sells $1,000 a month, that automatically pays a subscription fee of $40. So just by having
I'll try that. I'll find.
Yeah. So give it a shot.
I will. I'll let you know what.
So any more questions around this? What do y'all want to see next? We have 30 minutes and it's only, you know, the three of us. We want to see accounting. Do we want to see mileage tracking? What do y'all want to work on?
I'm trying to look and see what I can find here.
Alice, what do you use your accounting for? How do you do it in Excel or how do you do it?
Yeah, pretty much in Excel.
Okay.
I'll log it all in. So, yeah.
You probably got
I've done.
a system down that you just kind of every month just plug it in there and it just spits out some numbers.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Okay. We've seen that with a lot of, I would say, bigger sellers. They have this thing they've been doing for years, so it's kind of tough for them to adopt to Datamiine, which is totally fine. But in the event you want to have backup, which is not sitting on a local PC that could crash at any time, that might be the only value add to doing something like Datamiine. But what I could do, what if you wanted something super backed up that was very simple, what you could do is just come into Datamiine and go into your accounting and just keep it very simple. Just do a journal entry for three basic things: your revenue, your expenses, and your cost of goods. And because that's what your CPA needs at the end of the year, basically. They need those three things, plus your inventory at the end of the year, plus all your other write-offs in your business. But you could just come in at the very first of the month, because you already have your Excel file that does this, and just say this was April, reconcile, and this could be cost of goods. Sum of all your cost of goods that you have in your P&L sheet of Excel. Source could be like miscellaneous. Total cost of goods that month, let's just say it was $2,500, and you click save. And that way that automatically hits the P&L into your summary tab over here. So that would have booked for April over here. There it is right there. eBay
When
revenue.
eBay finishes, when
That
they
was,
finish kicking, it's
yeah,
going to make that even more powerful.
yeah, yeah. You can do the same thing for expenses. Just do a reconciliation of just summing everything up. Or some people want it broken out by rent, or let's see, some journal. Some expenses could be, shipping, advertising, bank fees, commission fees, any of these things that you normally see. You can get down to that kind of granularity. But if you just wanted to keep it very high level, you could just do April expenses, and then that way, at the end of the year, either you hand your tax file to your CPA, which they're probably already used to, or you just hand them this nice 12-month P&L. Here's everything. So not sure if this will benefit you at all, but it is one way of having it backed up in the cloud. So
The cost of goods only works if you have a cost on each one of the listings, right?
no, the cost of goods.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about at the individual item level on Datamiine?
Well, you have cost of goods total. I think it was $1,000 in January.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is calculated based only if you have a cost of goods sold for each individual item when you sell it. Is that correct?
Okay, so this is a very good question that people get confused on. When you go buy something, you incur that expense immediately. So from an accounting standpoint, you need that hits your P&L the minute that you buy it, not when you sell it. So is that how you're doing it, or are you doing it when you sell it?
No, I'm doing it when I buy it on the
Okay.
cash basis. But I was just wondering, the $1,000 that you're reporting in January, that is based on the sold units, right?
I'm trying to see where you see $1,000. So are you on my screen where you see it?
Yeah,
Here.
under January, right there. Yeah.
And
So how did that come about?
This is probably from a demo where I'm just putting in $1,000, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, if I wanted this to work with the software, I would have to put, say, if I sold 100 units, I would have to put $3 in, put whatever 3,000 in for each unit and have it calculate.
So are you trying to figure out your average cost of goods per item that you sold?
I'm just wondering if that is an automatic like calculation that comes out, or how
No, all this. So everything here is manually entered in the transaction tab. So
okay.
except eBay, except this stuff, eBay revenues pulled in automatically, eBay sales tax pulled in automatically. Anything you see question marks by, that's us saying, hello, we did this for you. You better verify before you go, report to the IRS. But everything else is, and when I tell people that don't have a system at all, because some people say, Brooks, I have 1 trillion receipts and I just hand my CPA. And I'm like, you don't want to be paying CPA $300 an hour, $200 an hour to go through. I say, the simplest way is to have 3 shoe boxes in your house, one titled revenue, expenses, and cost of goods. And then when you go to the store or you incur an expense, drop it in the right shoebox. And then once a month, add it up and put it in Datamiine. That's a very simple way of looking at it, but that would work.
Yeah.
So anyone have any questions about this? That's a really good one. When it needs to hit the P&L the time that expense or cost of goods happen. Because I've had many people come to me and say, well, I don't report it until it sells.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a CPA, but Wuchang's pretty close to it, and I get talk to him all the time. So no, all right.
Right.
Mileage tracking. Does anyone on the call use that feature yet?
I'm using it.
Okay.
No.
What we found is people are using any tool like MileIQ by chance?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Other tools out
I know
there.
where I.
Okay. What we saw was most.
Well, I know where I.
Right.
Yeah, I just use the maps on Google to pull up how far I went, and then I stick it in there one time and I got it.
Yep. That's it. So let me show that feature real quick. So what we realized is that most sellers out there go to, I would say, a maximum of about 20 places, whether it's the USPS, or thrifting places. So what we've done is just to create a address book for you. And so you would just, when you have to enter a new address, let's just call this Brooks's thrift store. And then you enter the address and everything like that. Then when you need to log a trip, you would just go to your mile logs here. And you would say, I went from my house to my shop. Then I went to the USPS. And this is a very common trip, by the way, that I'm doing now. Then I went home, and then I would click save. Oh, I need to hit travel title sourcing. I should say home. And you click save, it will log that trip. So if it's a new trip, it's going to default saying, I need to know how many miles that was. So you see this yellow right here, 0 miles. So I need to, for the only one time you have to do this, but you just need to click on map it, and it will integrate with Google Maps. And then it will show you that trip right there, round trip was 15.7. So I'm just going to go into Datamiine, and I'm just going to click on edit that trip, and then type in 15.7 and click on save, and you're done. So if you do that same trip over and over, which this one right here is very common, I'm just going to click on travel again and save. Some users use Datamiine daily to do this so they don't forget. I suggest doing it weekly, but Georgia, how do you use it? How often?
About weekly.
Weekly? Okay.
That's as far as my brain can go.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I would suggest. But don't give the government extra money. Make sure you're getting your mileage out of them. Any questions about this right here? No.
I think it's great.
Okay.
No.
To wrap things up, we still have 20 minutes, but we still have have some neat features out there. Sales tax. Alice, do you have to report that?
No, not quarterly
Not.
taxes or anything like that. No.
Okay. In the event that we all have to do that eventually, we do it currently today. Sales tax becomes real time. You would just click on sales report by US state. Your state will automatically default to the top. That's why we ask you to enter your address. And then we report quarterly. So for Q1, we would just add this up, and that's it. In the event you have questions about where the data is coming from, you would just click on the number, and it will show you all the transactions associated with it. So that's good. We have the same type of reporting for country. Main way that I use this right here is my wife might say, Brooks, we have a customs issue in Lithuania. I'm like, holy cow, now I spend 5 hours trying to get this package across the borders for whatever reason it might be stuck. I'll go into Datamiine. I'll say, okay, how much revenue have I generated from this country for year to date? And it might be like $20. And I'm like, I'm going to block that country because some countries are just harder to get into than other ones. South Africa, extremely hard. So this is just one way how I would use this information here. All right. Another one of my favorite reports is your sales performance report. If you ever see a screen here where it looks like it's not loading, just like now, just go ahead and click refresh. Sometimes the reports you have to do that. So this is just a stat graph of monthly revenue month over month by account. This looks at your average sales price. So I think this right here is one of the most important graphs that I look at because I do make strategic efforts in increasing my ASP. And you can see here it plays a big story because my data center account, which is blue here, has a much higher ASP. We lost a contract back in June of last year where we got big servers that increases ASP, and you can see what happened to my ASP. It tanked. Just here recently, I've been selling bigger things out there, and I'm getting it back up to even over what it was when I lost the contract. So this can be important on how you look at things. And this also talks about your sales through rate by store. So
is there an average should be on that sell-through rate?
What kind of a rule of thumb on what's a good sales through rate? So from what I've seen with clothing, if you are a one-off seller and if you don't stick to a certain brand or category, you're going to be around, I would say, 3 to 6%. If you are into a different, very niche market, I've seen people all the way up from 20 to 40% on certain things. But clothing in general, if you have a 15% on clothing, that's good. What do you
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
I got some of everything. I've been talking and trying to find a niche market to add to my some of everything. I think I may have found one, and I'm trying to determine whether what they are offering will give me enough profit per item. It's nice if you can jump on something and get 100% or even more, but what is the minimum profit per item that you would consider for your business?
Are you holding the inventory? Are you buying it and sitting on holding cost?
I will be holding, yes.
To be honest, I would. What kind of company is this? Are they like a huge company? Or are they an online company?
It is a local company. I can pick up items for. I don't have to pay shipping. What I'm going to wind up doing, they will not sell to me, but they have open clearance, and their clearance can still give me between 50 to 80% markup.
What I would do, and I do this with big companies, I would say, basically I would go to that store when they have a clearance one day, and I would tally up everything. Let's say it's 100 items there. And I would say, okay, I went back on my online store and I say, out of those 100 items you were selling for $5.99, I could have moved them for $19.99 online. Let's go with consignment, and I'll give you 50% of it. That way, they're making more money, you're making more money, and it's not taking up shelf space.
That's a good thought. That's a great thought.
That's how I pitch these deals all the time.
What I have been looking for, I want something, one that has a good selling rate, but I don't want something that there's 2 million other items on the eBay, the same thing. And what I have found is martial arts, which is, it's got, from what I'm looking at, it's got good selling rate, but it's not up in the million item category.
Hmm. What kind of category is this that you're talking about? The store?
Martial art, mostly clothing.
Oh yeah, I think that stuff would be high margin. Yeah, that's how I would pitch it to them. I would take an inventory of everything they have on sale, and then say, look how much money you're giving up by doing this. And two, it's taking up space on your floor.
Well, herein lays a problem that I have, because I'm still very, 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 very small.
Okay.
And I can't walk and offer them a $2,000 purchase every week.
But that solves your problem, that you're getting it through consignment. You have zero cash flow problems.
Oh, all right.
And then you would just, I'll show you exactly how we do this. Normally I don't show this on demos, but I will. Let's see here. I want to show you how Alice, does this help you at all, or anyone else on the call? People think of consignment, most people, and say getting clothing from friends and family. That's not consignment. I mean, consignment, I'm moving all our customers to consignment. We're talking, $10,000, $20,000 worth of inventory being put into our warehouse. And I'm pitching to them, stale inventory, I can sell it for a lot more online. That's my market. That's our niche. So it gets out of their warehouse into mine, and I write them a check once a month. So
okay.
This is exactly what I do. I say, okay, once a month I give them a sales report saying that I sold, I sell two ways. I sell online through eBay, and then I also sell wholesale through brokers. So I say, this is how much revenue is generated on eBay, and this is how much revenue was generated through brokers. And then I write them a check for some to go for, most of it's around 50%. I would always try to start out 60%. So that's how we track it. And then when you're in the custom label in Datamiine, this is how you track all that stuff. So I give them an inventory report once a month, and I would just go into my Excel file that I downloaded a second ago, and I would just filter off their company name, because that's what and it will show me all the active listings for that particular. So when they want the inventory, it's real time. I'm not sure why that didn't work. And then I also showed them the sales that was driven from it. So I would click into Datamiine, and I would go to my report home, custom label for consignment, and I would click on retro, and it will show me all of the sales. And then I would just click on the month.
All right.
Hold on one second. And this is what I would actually print out. I would print out this page right here showing off, because what it's showing them is, if they were to put this inventory on sale, let's say they were going to make $5 on it, but I'm selling it for $20, $22. So if it's at 50%, they're doubling their money.
Man, that's a wow. That's a sale. That's a sale matter. See, I'm no good at that type of thing. That is a great jump.
It's a big pitch. That's how you pitch it, though.
Yeah.
And that way you have zero cash problems. They're moving inventory, and you lock them into a contract basically saying they have to use you for all their excess inventory. And then once a month, you just come do a pickup. We have about 15 people like this that we deal with. So I'll always tell people that I will take a hit on margin to have consistent product coming through my warehouse.
Right. That's the reason I have been so interested in this, repeat.
Buyers.
Right.
But the good news is when you have, let's say, 10 or 15 contracts with companies, you're getting the same product over and over because you're buying from the same places that only have 10, 20, 30 SKUs. So in that, you're building a great example would be karate equipment. Well, they might buy a karate suit. I don't even know what, a gold belt or something. Well, that kid's eventually going to move up to hopefully a black belt. Then they're going to come buy from you again and then buy from you again. So you're building out a brand at the same time.
Yeah, that's you just opened my day.
This is very intriguing to me, but I'm not very familiar with this whole consignment thing. So are you saying that you don't have inventory in your warehouse because you're listing it on your eBay account, but all the inventory belongs at the consignee?
I would say out of this inventory you're looking at here, 200,000. Well, it's pulling up now. I would probably say 175,000 is completely consignment.
So you're listing it, but you don't have the inventory on hand.
The inventory is in my warehouse. I fulfill it.
You have the inventory?
We have one consigner, which is that we're working on right now in Chicago, which could literally be over $1 million worth of excess product in tech that they did not want to risk shipping to me. So we are going to list it for them. When we get an order, they have 3 days to ship it to my customer. So we're going to automate a way. When I get an order, it just automatically triggers an email to them and they ship it out. But this is a big $250 million company and they're big. So I trust them to do that. I like physically having the product in my warehouse or storage unit. But you only need 4 or 5 people. I'll give you the best example. LuLaRoe is in Blythewood, South Carolina. They have an excess stock of Gaylords Lula. We're talking, when I say excess stock, I'm talking thousands of them. Maybe I didn't name it. Gaylord. Let me type in Gaylord.
Don't you love computer?
Well, it could be a cache problem. Okay, here we go. So I randomly, this is what I do. I spend 4 hours a day looking for new contracts, literally. And LuLaRoe has an enormous warehouse 5 minutes from us. So I just went on LinkedIn and found their operations guy. And this normally never works, by the way. And I just happened to send him a message on Facebook and saying, hey, I'm not Facebook, but LinkedIn. And I said, hey, I have an online company. Are you interested? Do you have any excess stock that you can, share with us? Granted, I knew LuLaRoe has had some issues in the marketplace right now, which probably means they have a bunch of stuff sitting around. So they have over 2,000 of these bins, and this is their warehouse in LuLaRoe that they need to get rid of. And I buy them for around $50 to $60, and I sell them online for double that. And there's thousands of them. Now, luckily, when I get an order for 4 or 5, I just go pick them up in my truck and ship them out in my warehouse. But, I can drop ship from there too. So I love finding little niches like this that just help me keep growing my business.
Awesome.
Yeah, very nice.
But this is how, if someone asks me what's the first thing I should do with an online business, don't use a Gmail account. Get a business account for $10, like just a business email account. And then when you're talking to these people, these business owners, every business owner that sells goods has the same problem. They have a finished goods problem. And it's all about how you go into there and say, hey, I have this really cool software that I use that can track everything. It can track all your listings online that I can send you a report of. It can track all your revenue real time. And then when I start talking, and I actually show them Datamiine. And once I give them, see this, they're like, wow, this company is legit. It's a very easy transition to saying, I trust you, here you go. Once a month, I just run a report. I mail them a check. It has two things in it. It has this fancy little graph on how much money that I've paid them. It shows where the money is coming from, whether it's wholesale or online, and their inventory. So it's really nice to see that, wow, this thing that I was going to discount at $5, they're making 20 for it online, and I'm getting 10 of it. Why wouldn't they give me all their stuff?
That's awesome.
Has this changed anyone's thoughts on the call and how they're going to, do business going forward?
It has. I'm one of these people that if I went down to Mexico and they told me it was $10, I'd probably pay them $12. I don't have this bartering attitude, and you have just opened a massive door for me.
Yeah, it's use Datamiine to your advantage like that. There's not really good consignment tools out there, but you can definitely, if you pitch it like this right here, every business owner has the same problem. Even our eBay store, things, how do you get rid of stale inventory? You just keep it out there on eBay, or do you donate it? Or some out of the box ideas might be, I have these kids working free for me right now, these high school kids, 14 years old, 15 years old. I literally say, if you give me your time, I'll give you my excess stock. And you go hustle and sell clothing. And they're like, wow, that's awesome. I can become an entrepreneur and sell online. Well, they're helping me with stuff that's never going to sell, and I get free labor.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So this has kind of been a different kind of call. This has not been a full demo, but at least it's definitely a different, it's kind of more of like a think idea. Yeah. Kind of cool.
It's been great for me. I hope it has by Alice.
Yeah, it's a very nice call.
Let's see here.
Would be very interested to hear more about consignment in another call.
Do you like that?
About that? Yes, I'm very interested in that.
Maybe we should have would it be beneficial? I mean, I love going into corporate America and pitching to big shops. I don't know why. I just like that. I like presenting in front of large crowds. I like presenting problems. Would it help if y'all, if I say in 10 days, I'm going to have a call for all our users, and I want y'all to bring me business. Like, I have this friend who owns a karate shop. I have this other friend who owns this type of shop. And then I can help bounce ideas off of how I would pitch it if I was going into there. Would that help?
Yeah.
Just like be brainstorming in the next week when you're going into places. CVS is closing. What do you do? Just things like that. And then we can it's almost like saying, how do you take the next step into the pitch? Mm-hmm. And I think I can help bridge that gap, because that's what I think about all the time.
Yeah.
And you really only have to have a handful, because then you never have to worry about sourcing. Think about it.
Sourcing.
I know, but wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to source?
I do not like sourcing.
It's too
I do not like sourcing.
It's a killer. It'd be nice if you sourced for fun instead of sourced for a paycheck. Big difference. Mm-hmm. So I haven't gone into I went into like 2 thrift stores in my entire life.
Same here.
So how do you source wholesale then? You just have your
online. Online through some of those big companies that liquidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Always remember.
So I buy large quantities.
Yeah.
There's a national company that is centered here out of Oklahoma City that I know somebody that knows the top dog on that. I think I'm going to try that on them. They're manufacturers.
There you go. Manufacturers have holding cost problems all the time. Mm-hmm. Alice, have you seen our wholesale tab at all? Has anything come of interest to you? Of this? No.
I think I took a really quick look. What do you have in the wholesale tab?
We'll go through this right now. So our stuff is $1.75. It's all brand new. The stuff that which I'm very critical if I was going to buy, obviously I don't own any of this stuff right now, is the MLB, which I just showed you how often it's selling. All this MLB stuff, new with tags, sells like crazy right now. $1.75 is a no-brainer. You can take it to Plato's Closet and get more money for it than that. And the good news about all this stuff, we have high quantity of it. So you can say, I want 10 of this, 5 of this. This brand here, Warrior. This is a big lacrosse brand in the South. Huge. I didn't even know that until I started getting these kids into the shop and they started going googly eyes over the Warrior stuff and doing Instagram posts. Minecraft sells really well. So just keep.
They're all $1.75 each?
Yeah.
Question on this. From what I understand, these outs that you're carrying, what happens if I have somebody that says I'll take 150?
What do you mean, $150 or 150 shirts?
150 shirts.
Then if the inventory goes down to 0, this page gets removed. You won't see it again.
Do you sell this on eBay yourself?
No. So this is what happens. We go into this warehouse that's bigger than Walmart once a month, and they have 10,000 pallets of brand new clothing that's been overstocked for 40 years. They've had no process. I just happened to ask this manufacturer, like y'all are going to do, what do you do with your old clothing? Oh, well, they started laughing, which most people do. They have a big graveyard of stuff. They said, come take a look at our other warehouse. No power. So I get there, and it's literally 10,000 pallets of this type of clothing. I'm talking, brand new with bags, Alabama sweatshirts, like pallets of them. This is really high quality stuff. They make a lot of NCAA stuff. The Final Four March Madness stuff, when the person wins March Madness, they're the company that flies to the school and hands the shirts. They have to wait until the game's over with. So this is the kind of contract that how lucky we are, which I'm trying to give this to all of our users.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, take a look on here. But if someone says orders 150, most of these shirts I have at least 50 to 100 in stock of the same one.
Okay.
And I
Do
go
you
to
have a description as to what the shirt means or what it's for? Because I'm not really familiar with these shirts either.
That's a good point. Like I know things that like we know Patriots NFL, that's gonna sell. Like the stuff that
I would buy it if I know it would sell, but I just am not very familiar with all this stuff.
Right.
Or if you said MLB, that's like Major League Baseball. Is that what you're saying, or something else?
Major League Baseball.
Okay.
What we've thought about doing, and let me know if this, what if we had categories instead of seeing, let's say you had 4 categories, because it looks like MLB, NFL, and then I would say women's athletic wear, which is New Balance. And then you could actually come
I think you need it in a folder.
In a folder. And then you can actually come into
probably
data.
In a folder.
And then what we thought about is coming into a Datamiine where we did sell it, and you can just type in and actually see how fast these things are selling. So you can see so this is 517. So, almost every day we're selling multiple of these shirts for 19 or 20 bucks. Sold 3 that day, all for around the same price. That's definitely worth paying $1.07. Mm-hmm.
So you are listing these on your eBay account?
No, these here, I don't compete against our users. This is my wife. She takes over all clothing for us. So she has separate inventory. I made the mistake a few times of grabbing her inventory. Not good. So what she has, we go into this huge warehouse and we divide and conquer. She gets what she wants for her online store. I get what I want for our users and our wholesale accounts. And that's how it happens. So we have a few users that say, Brooks, I want to know every time you go to this big warehouse, and then I will call you when I'm there, and we're going to be there in like 10 days. And I'll say, do you want to get a sample pallet of, 500 things? And then I'll kind of do some videos on what the different samples are. And then that way, when we go again, you kind of know exactly what to hone in on. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's just so much there. It's so much.
Yeah, I will say that on all the stuff that you have listing, any description at all would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be up to the person who's going to retail it to, make the final decision on it. But it would be very beneficial. Well, just like even right there, your retro bands, you got looking at the top one here, this retro brand MLB, you got your description already. Just stick it under the picture so we can see it.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I can like show just a nice graph of and a time frame where we've been selling this type of clothing. Major League Baseball, we've sold it for the past 2 months, and we've sold $2,000 worth at the average sales price of $19. Because we have all the data here for us on our account. Maybe that would help.
That would be nice.
That'd be nice. Okay, I'll be thinking about that. That way, I can put all this MLB into one folder, and then when you click on maybe above the folder, we'll see all the sales through for each category. MLB category, I'm going to focus on that because it has the highest sales through. I like that. I'm going to do that in the next 2 weeks. Does anyone, when I go to this warehouse, want me to call them and do like a video to so they can actually see or be interested in first dibs? Because the stuff that I do that with people, I never put it into here. I basically go there for them first, and then all the excess sometimes hits here. But
I'm going to concentrate on contacting people around here. You've opened such a great door. I'm anxious.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all think another consignment call would be good? You think?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be more of like a Q&A or just how I do consignment as just to get it going?
I'd love to hear just how you would
pitch it.
Kind of teach us about consignment and how we can do that on our own.
Okay. Do y'all know any?
I think she's right on that too.
About what?
Excuse me?
I said I think she's right on that too, because I've watched your other videos and you are, you're not on a script and I've got to finish it in 30 seconds. You do very well. And I think the Q&A would, just you're pitching it out would be a good idea.
Okay. First step though, I always tell everybody, don't use Gmail. You can use Gmail, but just don't use @gmail.com because you're going to be reaching out to business owners.
So how do you get a new email without using gmail.com? What do you mean?
I would get like a business email. We have Google as our email, but it's @minostech.com. So you would have to get like a domain.
Can you do that via Google, via Gmail to get a free account?
I think so.
Or no?
I would Google, best way. I think it starts with a domain. I should know this. And I don't, because Chung obviously helps me on everything tech. But
okay.
I would really, it might be like $10 a year or something like that. But think about it. You're sourcing now from business owners, and perception's key. Yeah. A lot of my customers, I don't even want them to see my warehouse because it's only like 3,000 square feet. And I'm dealing with companies that are ranging from 200 million to 25 billion. They would look at me like, this is a joke. I had it on site yesterday and they said, you seem so small. And I'm like, well, I like to play so big. But it definitely helps me.
You keep small.
Mm-hmm. Keep what?
Until you go through small. You got to start someplace.
You got to start somewhere. Yeah, I hear people all the time, well, I just have a small little warehouse or ship out of my house. Well, they don't know that. You don't need it. They're not going to come do it. Let's say you put in their agreement that you have to do an audit. And some people do want an audit, and that's fine. We're all here to trust each other. So how about this? I'll start an event for next week. I need to figure out when I'm going to be not doing pickups. And it will be 100% 1 hour around consignment. And I'm going to try to get let's try to get a lot of people in that call. If y'all could help promote this on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then that way I want to have as many different ideas coming out of it as possible. And then
What time would you think your call would be? I work full time, and today is the day that I took the day off, and I decided to jump on this call.
Okay.
So would you be doing that during the day, or at night?
What time zone are you?
I'm in Central.
You're in Central. So
So 1 hour behind.
if I did it at 7 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
All right, let me get note. And by the way, a year and a half ago, my business was 100%. I call perpetual. Perpetual is the exact opposite of consignment. And when we lost that big server contract, I was like, I can't. I got to lock everyone into a contract and go. I'd rather take a huge hit on margin to get into guaranteed pickups. That's the only way of doing it to help my business grow very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Because before this call, what was everyone's perception of consignment?
Well, I had sold a bunch of stuff for my son and got raked over the coals, so it wasn't really good.
No, there's a difference in buying between individuals and business owners. I never take anything from just individuals. It's a lot of overhead that they're going to.
That's my new policy.
You want to be able to go to a business owner and say, "Hey, you're discounting this at 75% off. Why can it make you an extra 25%?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the key. They can double their money, and it gets out of their place.
Yeah, and that storage, having them in this, in their storage is important to them.
Oh yeah, shelf space is everything. That's the key of success. Alice, what Facebook groups are you in?
I know that.
I know George is on a lot.
Facebook groups?
Yeah.
Well, Datamiine, of course.
Yes.
Some of the product sourcing and like eBay and Poshmark sites like that.
Okay. All right, then I might ask you to. I know George will help push it. I want to have, I would say, 10 people on the call. That would be kind of a good number. Any more than that could get probably overwhelming. But I'm going to try to do it at 7. Actually, Monday night, I have a meeting at 10 o'clock at night with Microsoft about their servers. So that will be a big one. They need someone to buy and liquidate their IT hardware. And this is Microsoft, the Microsoft. So
wow,
yeah, that should be interesting.
You just for the money.
Yeah, they must think I'm really big.
Okay. What day next? What day next week?
It's either gonna be Wednesday or Thursday. I'm just taking a note of this because I have to have two.
My personal, that's worth.
I have 2 pickups to do next week in North Carolina. And then I'll just show you one last quick thing is when I go someplace and say I'm going to North Carolina next week to do a pickup, I'll go in Datamiine and I'll just type in, I'll go in the orders page and I'm going to go to by state and I'm just going to type in North Carolina. And it's going to show me all my orders that happened in that area. And then what I do is I hone in on companies out there.
I'm
just going to mute you real quick. And then what I do is, so I'm going to North Carolina next week to do a big pickup at a data center. So then I go in here and sort by all my orders that happened to that state. Now I want to focus on all the companies that have purchased from me in that state. So remember in Datamiine, the email addresses, if they are bold, they're typically going to be a company. So you can quickly see that this company here, Fujifilm, if y'all are familiar with the old Polaroid cameras, Fuji bought from them. Huge company in Durham, North Carolina. I immediately called this guy right here. He picked up, and I'm trying to figure out right now and get a meeting with him on what they do with their old gear because I have another big customer located a mile down the road from him. So anytime I go somewhere like Nevada's a good place. I'm going to eBay Open. I'm trying to plan meetings around that as well. So I type in Nevada. Email addresses are all bold right here, but this is where I'm like, oh, here's this company that purchased from me. I would call them to try to schedule meetings around that. So this is how I use that when I'm doing business trip. That way I can take advantage of everything. So any more questions on anything? No? I guess the main thing
No.
here was opening your eyes to business consignment, I would call it.
For me, yes, definitely.
All right. Maybe that's what I call it. Business consignment's way different than I would call traditional consignment. So, all right. Well, I hope this was helpful. I'm going to stop recording now. And that way, if y'all want to hear this, I'll probably add I will add this video into the Datamiine Facebook group. And then when y'all see that invite probably this weekend go out for the meeting, please push it on other Facebook groups to try to draw some attractions. Once I hit like 10 or 15, I would probably say 20 people that accept the invite, I'll probably reach out and say, don't market it anymore because I don't want to have more than 10 to 12. But I just want to get different people, different ideas in there so we get more out of the meeting. So cool.
Sounds good.
All right. Everyone have a good weekend.
Thank you so much.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.